We'd like you to remember this trip of ours.
Cash, and we're right here sitting with Jamani right now, one of the best guys right here, host of the LocalHost. What made you start LocalHost, like as a concept around here in Philly? What made you be your motivation and your drive to doing it?
So the original mission of this actually came from our CEO and founder, John Fazio. His whole idea of Nerd Street was he wanted to have this be not just entertainment, but opportunity. And with LocalHost, it was to have something be accessible. Right, esports wasn't necessarily accessible for a whole lot of people. Right. You need computers, you need higher-end equipment, you need to be able to play, you need fast enough internet to be able to do so. So why not have a central location that people can come to and experience that? The whole mission behind LocalHost and kind of Nerd Street is just access to esports for everybody. The main thing we've wanted to do here is have a place people could play. It's not super expensive. Right now our current pricing, we're $7 an hour to play on PC or play on console. Families come in, we have high school students who come in, college students. We're open to everybody, we've served everybody, we've done a variety of events here, we've had collegiate tournaments, high school tournaments. People can host their own if they want to rent the venue. They can do that if they have their own communities and their own events that they would like to run and have a spot to run that with enough space for everybody. They're more than welcome to do that. Our whole thing is just getting people access and getting it early. For us, we've expanded our programming within the last calendar year. In 2023, instead of just having summer camps, we've added the winter camps. So we have winter break day camps, so you have something right after the holidays before school's back in session. And then during the school year, during the fall and spring semesters, we have our Nerd Street Youth League. So the Nerd Street Youth League is for high school and middle school students. We have our youth division and our varsity division. Nice. We just had Philadelphia Electrical and Technology Charter participate. Vlogs Big Picture High School participated. We're looking to get Roman Catholic High School involved next year. So we're moving. We're getting esports in early and getting them exposed to it. So by the time they get to college and start looking at schools, start looking at programs, like, well, I'm familiar with organized esports already. Let me look for a school that aligns with what I want to do. And if they have this, if they offer it, so they're already ahead of the curve. It's not a shock to them by the time they get to college.
That makes a lot of sense. I can see you're very passionate about the esports scene and everything in general. What created and started that passion? Like, what made you, when did you get into esports as a career and actually spread it throughout the entire community to share the love for it?
So being a player first, years ago when I was younger, actually while I was in school, I was in charter school. I went to a cyber school, so I had access to a computer at home, and I started playing, Star Wars Battlefront, Tribes 2, back when they had like the Game Spy service for it. So very organized, but very kind of disorganized, very much community built. But as I saw gaming get bigger, MLG, the World Gaming Championship, CGS, back when that was on DirecTV, watching teams like Carolina Core, watching players like Black Mamba, Jeremy Florence play DOA. That was really how I kind of got into fighting games as well and started going to things in the area. First met Big E back in 2010. That's how I got involved in the fighting game community. And I started going to local events, started going to a couple of cons here and there that had fighting games, started getting involved with helping out with the game room, staffing. And then 2014, everything kind of took off. Started traveling right after I graduated from high school. Literally graduated from high school the first week in June, and then 2 weeks later, I was on a plane heading down to CEO for my first time going to a major.
Wow, that's amazing.
So that's where it all started. So I've been in the scene, I've been in the fighting game community here in Philly for about 12 years now. Just been running, joined Nerd Street in 2020. I actually came in as a coach, so I came in coaching the Overwatch camps.
Nice.
So I was doing that over the summer, working remote, and then came in once we got the okay to reopen and do things in person. I was running events at the East Walls location. Then they're like, hey, the block is opening soon. We're gonna have our flagship Philadelphia location. We already got experience with events, so it's pretty easy to make the transfer, come here, just kind of keep the ball rolling. So. Been here, I actually just celebrated my 4-year work anniversary yesterday.
Oh wow, congratulations.
Thank you. So I've been running Smash events here, FGC, we got Counter-Strike that's going on. We'll have that later this summer. Team Fortress 2 is going to be back in the mix in July. Really excited to have that community back in here and work with them. But yeah, it's really just been being around. That has been the main thing, being around esports, being around gaming, being through the FGC, and just doing as many events and working with as many different communities as I can.
That's amazing.
There's always people who are going to be interested in what we offer, just with the space, just for our computers. We have high-end equipment. Got 3080, so if you want state-of-the-art, if you want fiber internet, you can come here, play on the fastest available. And just being able to give that to people and see their reactions, like that's kind of what keeps me going, is that everybody has a chance to play on equal footing here. That's the most important thing.
That's such an amazing motivation, man. Like, it's something like we actually really need people like that in the community, especially with the competitive scene growing as massive as it has within the last decade. You know, esports has just blown up for sure. A lot of people were going from just this being a pastime to now this being a whole career. So to those people who are actually aiming for the competitive scene to like elevate themselves, what would you say to them, like to take their first steps into trying to actually expand their own community and try to start something similar to what you have done today?
Start small, keep community at the forefront of it, and make sure it's fun. That's the most important thing. Once it stops being fun and you're not having fun with it, you're not finding fun in what you're doing, that's when it gets very, very difficult. But don't be afraid to be the first one to raise a hand and say, yo, I'm thinking about doing something. Would you guys want to? You can start just like, yo, let's link up, a couple of us, let's go, let's play some games. Then that can turn into this doing a weekly thing, bi-weekly, a monthly. Then you can make an event out of it. And it grows from there. It's very much go with what you got and then build it, sustain it, then you start growing. Like, make sure you have a core group and make sure you keep your community at the forefront of it. You know, if you're going out in this thing and saying, I'm going to have my name in lights, I'm going to make money, this probably isn't the place for you. I hope you're able to do that, but the thing is, you want to be the change that you are. You want to run the events that you would have wanted to attend when you didn't have, you know, the opportunity to, or those weren't available to you. You know, make what you wanted to go to. And for those who aren't sure, who may have just be getting into the scene or have been here for a while and still struggling, it took me a couple years to find what my niche was. Don't be afraid to jump on the path. And if one's not available for you, don't be afraid to create one. You know, everything will come in time. Just keep at it. Don't be afraid to go back to the drawing board. And just always go with best foot forward. And remember to keep your community, keep your peoples close, and remember that you're doing it for someone, not necessarily for a payoff.
Amazing. Very, very wise words. I could definitely tell that you embody everything about Philadelphia and the message of brotherly love, especially when it comes to the esports game. It's been amazing. Now, of course, I have one last question. What are your top 5 competitive scenes games when it comes to, you know, playing in the competitive scene? What's your top 5? You know, there's a lot of people and a lot of variety when it comes to esports games. You know, me being a big Smash fan myself, you know, I got that in my personal top 3. So I'd like to hear from your opinion, you know, for somebody who's been involved for so long and you've seen so many different games and communities.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so like as a player or as someone who's like been like just working in events, like
both. You can give a personal top 5 on both, honestly.
Let's go with the atmosphere first. So I'll do that. The FGC, there's nothing like it. The collective effervescence of everybody kind of being in unison, really chanting to a combo. There's nothing like that. But then in terms of, you know, large esports games, I gotta go with the legacy pick. I gotta put Counter-Strike up there. Absolute, just massive crowd reactions. The energy there is all its own. Even here, just very grassroots. Even when we scale up to do the bigger events, we've got international competition. It's something about it that always feels like home. 3. Okay, so this is more of a recent pick. Rainbow Six Siege. Their competitive community is super passionate, and they are so locked in and a little bit rowdy, but it's fun.
Yes, it is.
When they're supporting their favorites, so I'll give it there. I gotta give it to League as well. Massive game, massive draw, great energy. I know some people have their thoughts about the toxicity of the game, but again, that's online. When you go to an event, it's different. So, you know, being able to witness a couple of those events in person, you know, seeing a couple of the LCS qualifiers and just how people respond and pop off for their favorite players, it's dope. 5. Damn, man, I gotta say Smash. Smash, the passion, just everything that they bring and how hyped they get for their favorite players, whether they're homegrown talent, they've traveled, they made the journey going abroad. SmashCon is a huge event. Genesis, absolutely massive. Like, you're talking about whenever they do those cuts to the crowd, like, it feels like a movie almost. So yeah, I would have to put Smash in my top spot. They've been great. Just how they support and how often they support. They show up, they show out, and all of those communities do it. But that would have to be number 5, just based on what I've personally experienced.
Gotcha. That's an excellent, honestly, excellent top 5. Honestly, wouldn't place it any better myself. It's actually been really, really good having this time with you today and just be able to explore more into the mind of the local host and of Nerd Street in general. It's been a pleasure to talk to you, man.
Pleasure. Thank you so much for taking the time.
Giggling and... By the way, it's that time.